Islam should be banned in Europe and the entire West. It is incompatible with our culture. You may be wondering what will make someone make such an outlandish, irrational statement. This is the reason. It is right here. Breaking. Switzerland has banned the burqa and will not allow Muslim women from covering their faces in public starting January the 1st, 2025. This news did not come as a shock. In fact, it wasn't supposed to come as a shock given the fact that we've seen countries in the West and Europe that claim to be bastions of freedom of religion ban the burqa. If you dig deep, you would realize these people have no reasonable reason to ban burqa. In fact, it is now obvious more than ever that this ban is aimed at objectifying our sisters and making them vulnerable. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the Prophet to tell his wives, his daughters and the believing women to cover themselves, Allah gave a reason as to why that has to be. He said, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَن يُعْرَفْنَ فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. That is better that they be known and not be harmed. And wallahi, this has been proven to be true. I have seen women say they feel protected when covered. Others say they feel naked if not covered in public. For you to better understand that this is a deliberate target on our sisters who have chosen to take a step further closer to Allah, let's take Belgium's ban on burqa as a case study before going back to the topic of today, which is Switzerland's recent ban on burqa. If you are still here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video. Your support to me and the channel will highly be appreciated. Link will be in the comments. It says here, analysis of the Travaux preparatories revealed three main motives behind the ban. In other words, the ban in Belgium. First, improving subjective and objective safety. How does banning burqa improve safety? Now, are they trying to say these women are not safe wearing burqa, so they have to place a ban on it to improve their safety? Or are they trying to say the safety of the society is not safe enough when we have women putting on burqa? If the former is the reason why a ban was placed, then it is the most ridiculous thing ever. And if the latter is why they placed a ban on it, then they will have to bring at the very least one case scenario where a woman on burqa attacked people. Unfortunately for them, there is none in Belgium. Even though one case scenario is not sufficient as a reason to place a ban on face veil. Now, moving on to the second reason for the ban, they said guaranteeing communication and social cohesion. I think finally they have spoken the truth for once. To be honest, this is what they aim at. Men being able to free mix with our sisters without fear, and they call it social cohesion. These bozos are scared of socializing with our sisters on burqa, and this is the respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said covering yourselves will bring to you and you won't be harmed. So finally, the last reason is the most absurd of them all. They said protecting women's right. Sometimes I wonder if these people think they are in Afghanistan. So a ban was put in place to protect women's rights. How does this even make sense? How is that the case if a woman wants to put on a burqa? You can see how ridiculous and stupid this sounds. These are the same people that condemned Afghanistan for making it mandatory for women to put on a burqa in public areas, saying women should be allowed to exercise their right to free will. No one should be cajoled into doing something she doesn't want to do. This reminds me of a story I really want to talk about. A few days back, a woman in Iran having mental health crisis was seen walking on the street with just her undies on. This woman was praised on X, especially by ignoramuses from the West, for daring to go against the morality police and the mandatory hijabi policy for women in Iran, calling her a heroess. The one and only Dry Wood took advantage of this situation and lied to his audience, hoping to get many converts, as much as many converts he could. Wallahi, these people are so obsessed with our sisters. Anyways, this one said, girls and women in Iran are taking resistance to a whole new level. She undressed in protest because the morality police at her university told her that her hijab was improper. This one said, fearless Iranian student who stripped to her underwear to protest against the regime, seen being kidnapped and bundled into the back of a vehicle by Iranian morality police. She has not been seen since. This one said, she's a fearless Iranian teenager who chose to walk in her undergarment in public because she was harassed for not wearing a proper veil. She was supposedly murdered later by Iranian morality police. No, these lies are getting too much. Just so you may know, these people knew exactly what happened. Look at the tweet of this infamous liar. He said, defiance personified. She was arrested and unalived. Someone asked him if he was sure she was murdered. He responded, she was arrested by the police and taken to a mental hospital, so he knows exactly what happened to her. He knew she was taken to a mental hospital. However, he said she was murdered, and that post still remains up there till this very day. Now let me tell you what really happened, and you will see why they omitted this part. Just before she was taken into custody in a video, she was seen at a very far distance alone. She then all of a sudden went fully naked, removing her undies. Now tell me, is this the behavior of someone protesting against a policy she doesn't like, or the behavior of someone having a psychotic breakdown? The point here is, these people meddle in other people's business and try to teach them what women's rights should be and what should not. By extension, women's freedom. But they, however, don't practice what they want to see in others. Else, why would you find a woman who willingly wants to put on a burqa? This now brings me back to the Switzerland's ban on burqa. Unlike Belgium, who were still able to shamelessly gather the courage and put up some ridiculous reasons for the ban, Switzerland, on the other hand, did it just for the fun of it. No reasons whatsoever other than we want to make Muslim women's life miserable here in Switzerland. If they refuse to free mix with our men and have a sense of gender equality, then we don't want to see them in our public spaces. This is the reason. We don't want to see them in our public spaces if they don't want to free mix. But there are exceptions. For those women, even if they are Muslims, who choose to put on a face veil to dance and entertain lustful men like this loser Bil Mehar, that is okay.
Here's lovely Nima in a coquettish little outfit that showcases the girl inside the woman inside the stifling female containment unit. It's first-class clothing for second-class citizens, and it shows off your curves in all the right places. The top of your head, your shoulders, and absolutely nowhere else. Dress it up for morning prayers, or dress it down for midnight stonings.
Yes, this is literally allowed just to mock and disrespect Islam. In fact, it is allowed for every other reasons except for religion. And we know Islam is the only religion that encourages women to put on a face cover. The good news here is, despite all this, Islam will still thrive and dominate the world whether or not the disbelievers like it. And as for those who claim to be bastions of women's freedom, shame on you. Shame on you. You do the exact thing you condemned others for. Where is a woman's freedom to put on whatever she wants when there is literally none? Finally, I must applaud those who had the courage to remind people that this is not compatible with the core values for freedom of religion. This one said, I think all Western nations should follow suit, pun intended. It denies a woman's freedom, and freedom is a Western value. Then the question is, do those women choose that? This one said, this goes against probably every constitution in the West. Freedom of religion is one of the cornerstones of our societies. Finally, Michael responded to this ban Islam in Europe and the entire West of a thing. He said, I thought freedom of thought, expression, and of course religion was a pillar of the West. Ironic, you talk about incompatibility while preaching for practices that we in the West should find incompatible with our core principles. Again, this video is just to remind you the Western hypocrisy and how inconsistent they are. I remain your brother Abdul. Catch you in the next one.